Alright everybody, here is the prototype, first build of the KSA orbiter, and this is basically just going to go up, pick up our Kerbals, and bring them back down. It has enough room for 6 Kerbals exactly, and we do have 1 crew member on board. Stop it, Dookie. Dookie Holiday keeps climbing on board for some reason. He's pulling a Jebediah and he needs to stop doing that. We are going to have just Bob Kerman flying this thing, and the reason for this is because there's no place to put a mechanical brain that would not potentially explode. And because of that, what it is the end result of the ship after launch will be this fuel tank and this engine, along with everything above it. And the heat shield on here, this whole bottom half of the heat shield, will function. It does work with the deadly reentry pack, which is really great. It is really great because it's directional heat shield. The downside is anything that isn't from the B9 pack or doesn't have this directional heat shield will, of course, explode as it heats up. So on the way back in, we're most likely going to lose all of this. It's going to heat up and it's going to blow off and explode, and that's fine, because as you can see, everything of import is on top of the ship and away from the flames. So even if we lose our thermal generators and everything else, we have a battery backup. We have all of our parachutes along the side, and I put enough on there to where if anything bad happens to 1 or 2 of them, we have a lot of backup. So hopefully we'll bring all the Kerbals down in one piece. It's a very generic, very basic design, and of course it is not a single stage to orbit aircraft, because with deadly reentry right now, there's no way to do an SSTO that can return, because none of the wings have ablative coating. If you guys didn't know that already, none of the wings actually have ablative coating. Not even the B9 pack has ablative coating wings. So what you do is, as you come back in, even if your ship survived, your wings would still blow off, meaning that you at the end point you'd end up with a tube and some parachutes. There's no way around that. So the whole plane to space thing would be completely a complete waste of weight trying to get it up there, and a complete waste of time trying to get it back down, because what we have here is what would come back down. Now, as per usual, as you can see, this has no docking ports or anything for the same reason. That means we are going to have to pull in close to the space station and have everybody EVA over. We will do that, of course. For the initial flight, however, and to get it, well, I don't know, since it is Bob, and Bob may die, and Bob is kind of important, we'll probably just do the initial launch anyway, and that'll also double as our initial test flight, I suppose, because if it doesn't work, we'll be the first to know. So I will see you guys out there on the launch pad, and we'll get Bob, and not Dookie, stay out of the cockpit, buddy. We'll get Bob up there, and hopefully he'll be able to get to the bubble, and everybody can get on board, and then we can bring the ship back down, and we can move on to the next stage. Because of course I know you guys are like, KB, you keep doing all these other things that aren't what you said you were going to be doing, and I'm not stalling for time, even if it does feel like I am. I have a lot of things that I wanted to do, and a lot of little side stuff that got started and never finished, and it's important to finish this stuff, right? Right, so once again, I'll see you guys out there on the launch pad, and we'll get this thing up into the big black, so I'll see you there. Alright everyone, here we are out on the launch pad. We have 600 units of oxygen, which should be more than enough for all the Kerbals we will be bringing back with us, and for Bob, if nobody makes it back except him. Now we are heading into a north-south orbit, which would be in that direction. I just have to remember to tilt that way. That's one of the things I always tend to forget. But before we go, let's just go ahead and turn the cockpit lights on. Let's kick on some of these lights since we're on the dark side over here. No reason not to. I mean, they don't really use electricity, so we're okay with that. There we go. And even if they do, we're using thermal, so bonus for us. So there we go. Yeah, look at that. It's so pretty. Alright, so let's go ahead and kick this thing up. And I don't know where the bubble is right now. Actually, you know what? I'm saying we should go in a north-south orbit, and that's not true. We need to go into an orbit that puts us roughly in line with the bubble, don't we? So that is super duper important. The bubble is currently headed in which direction? I think it's heading this way. Yep. So we will be going into a northern orbit. As you can see, our orbit's going to be a little bit off, but that's okay. I will correct that. We should have enough fuel to correct that, I hope. And then once we correct that, we should be fine. Yeah, we should be fine. So we do want to go into a north orbit, so we do want to go that way. And Bob is chomping at the bit, so I guess that means it's time to launch. So let's go. So as usual, we'll just do this with our first. Whoa! Oh yeah, I forgot. All that weight on the front is causing us to tilt a little bit, so we're going to have to adjust accordingly. Let's kick on our flight computer here. There we go. A little better, a little smarter. Yeah, that was my bad. All this stuff on the top here is causing drag. So once our first stage is gone, we will, of course, I'll see you guys in orbit, of course, as I was attempting to say and not doing a very good job, because now I'm fighting the controls here, so yeah, we'll see how this works. We'll see if I got the staging right and everything else, or if Bob Kerman becomes Bob, like, Juice. No Bob Juice, buddy. Okay, let's kick up our throttle a little bit. There we go. Alright, so first stage is good, and since our first stage is good, let's just go ahead and go. So I'll see you guys in orbit, absolutely. Alrighty, everybody, here we are much closer to the bubble. As you can see, it is 6.6 kilometers out. We are coming up on a burn that I set up. It hopefully will put us roughly where we want to be, but at the same time, you never know. So we're going to go ahead and start slowing down. Whoa, forgot about that. We're going to start slowing down now, just for safety purposes. There we go. Look at that, 1.3 kilometers and 46 seconds. Now, I did take the liberty of moving some of the fuel from this center tank to the orange tank. Whoa, okay, it's coming into view, that's why. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to make sure that if we came down, like, because we have so much extra fuel left over, that when we came down, I wanted to make absolutely sure that we came down as nose heavy as possible, so that our engine and everything does not ignite and doesn't cause any massive explosions or anything like that. I should have put a clamp on there, like a decoupler or something. I did not. That was my bad. But I just moved all the fuel into that tank except for a teeny tiny bit into this one. Alright, so there's the bubble there. Now we are 1.4 kilometers away from it. Let's go ahead and go to the map screen so I can discontinue this node really quick. There we go. Alright, and it says we're going to be, what, 8.8 by 1.4, so yeah. We're going to try to get as close to it as possible, and at the same time that we do that, we are also going to try our best to, well, one, not bump into it, but two, just stay close to it so that all of our Kerbals can get on board here with Bob, who is doing a great job despite his massive amount of fear. As you can hear in his voice there. Alright, so yeah, the design on this, not 100%, but it should be good enough to bring us in safely, I hope. Once again, center of mass might be an issue, but hopefully not too big an issue. So we're just going to go ahead and go like this and just see how this works for us really quick. And what we really want to do is we want to burn towards the ship. I should do, not internal camera, I need orbital. No, I'm going to need chase camera for this, just because. It's not docking, but it's close to it. So you guys might get a little bit sick here because of the way this thing maneuvers. But I'm hoping that we'll be able to just come close to it without too much trouble. Because yeah, we are moving a little bit. There we go. That's a little bit better. Alright, so within 900 meters, 8, 7, 6... 600's nice. Wrong one again. Sorry, guys. Okay, we're back to auto camera. Hopefully auto camera will work for us. I just want to bring us in as close as possible. There we go. 4. Okay, now we need to turn around very quickly because 400 meters is not very far, and we're going to need to slow down in about 38 seconds. So because of that, I'm just going to loop us around really quick so we don't pass by too quickly, because we are doing 24 meters a second. And let's just turn on that. That should do us some good. Help slow us down a little bit. Look at that. Nice slow down there. Alright, perfect. Alright, so let's slow ourselves down a little bit. Maybe a lot of bit. There you go, 9.1 meters a second. This thing is just very heavy, very hard to move. And because of that, I just want to make sure that I just want to get as close to 0 as possible is basically what I'm looking for. Because the closer we are to 0, the easier it will be for our Kerbals to get on board, which is what we really want. Alright. For whatever reason, I feel like I can't control this thing, and I think it's honestly because it's got those nodes and everything on top, and so it's a little top heavy because of that. If I had RCS, that would make this a little bit easier, but I don't, and so it doesn't. And this whole thing is spinning for some reason. There we go, 0.1. Ah, look at that. Alright, so our closest approach is in 4 minutes. Let's just switch our time is what I'm going to do, and then we're going to switch over to the other ship. Now he is right there. Lathfar Ultra Confix, you're first, buddy. I don't know why you're just gonna be our guy. So I need you to let go. So go ahead and let go. RCS is on, please. There we go. Back away. Alright, now I just need you to head for the ship up there. Really super simple, right? Absolutely, alright. So it's 500 meters, it's going to take us a couple seconds to get there. I could go a little bit faster, I suppose, but I don't want to fly by, nor do I want to smash his head. Two things that would cause very bad Kerbalized squishiness. Oh, scary stuff. Stuck between two nodes. Alright, there we go. Throttle up a little bit. We may have to go back to the deorbiter, and yes, we did call it the deorbiter, as I did tell everybody. We may have to go back to the deorbiter to adjust its speed every once in a while, because being in a slightly higher orbit than the bubble will cause it to have a few issues. But hopefully none too insane. Or eventually, like I was saying, I'm sorry, I'm trying to concentrate, but basically what will happen is we'll drift apart, and you guys, I'm sure, are fully aware of that. Alright, so let's slow down a little bit, just a little bit. There we go. Oh, there we go, perfect. Look at that. And just move forward. Really? Good to know. Alright. Alright. And back us up. Just a little bit. Yeah, we're coming up on the top here, so we're gonna have to rotate around, I think. But we should. Whoop. Should be okay. There we go. Should be okay. So let us do. Ultra, you're gonna go ahead and head inside the crew hatch, I think. Wrong way. Wrong way. Back it up. Back it up. Oh, we can grab from here. Cool. Grab. Yeah, I thought that might happen. Whoa, 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 whoa. RCS back on. Come on. Straighten out. Straighten out. Straighten out. We're not reenacting a scene from Gravity here. Alright. Alright. Whoa, 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 whoa. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Move it. Move it. There we go. Whoa, scary stuff. I thought that might happen. I should have done it manually. I didn't. That was my bad. Okay. Now the whole thing is rotating, so we're going to have to be some caution on that. Yeah, the whole thing's rotating, so we're going to use a little bit of caution on that. Honestly, I don't like that it's rotating, so let's just do that, and then we'll do this manually instead. I do apologize for that, Ultra Confix. That was totally my fault. I want to head down. That's this way, and down. That's this way. There we go. Okay, now you should be able to grab hold without any flinging off into space. There you go. Okay, boom. Whew. Okay, Ultra's inside. Next. We're at 490 meters away. Lathfar, EVA time, buddy. Alright, and let's go ahead and let go. RCS up. And, there's really no way to fix your current, I guess you can say your current, orientation. Left to right orientation we can fix, but otherwise there's nothing, so we can do this. But there's really no other way to fix your orientation, so this is going to be it. But this will help me control you a little bit better, I think. Because that's the kind of guy I am. Not going out into space myself. No, I'll send all you guys. Nice and safe out here in the big black, right? Alright, we're doing good. I don't know how long it is until our... I guess I could have used... You know, I really don't use the Kerbal timer very much, do I? I really should. That would be very helpful on things like this. Determining, like, it says you have 4 minutes until your closest approach, and so I set the timer for 4 minutes, that kind of thing. That would be very helpful, but I've not gotten used to using it, so I don't really know how. So I guess Kerbal Alarm would be a good idea for something like this, where these maneuvers are very, very touchy, you know? Okay, we want to go forward a little bit, because we want to change our angle just slightly. There we go. It's all relative, man. You got to do this like relative style. Insanity, right? Right. Oh, I am still really nervous about bringing you guys down, though, if only because I'm nervous about whether or not I'll be able to do it, like with this ship. I mean, the heat shields on it will work fine. I know that. I know that. It's the weight of the back end and whether or not everything else will work, but it's a chance I'm willing to take with your lives. Apparently they don't agree. Alright, can you grab that, buddy? There you go, and go ahead and board up. Perfect! Alright, so what's our closest approach will be in 10 seconds. You may want to do some micro adjustments. Let's go ahead and just, yeah, our speed to target is 1.9. Let's adjust our speed a little bit really quick, because we're about to reach our closest approach, and I don't want that. So let's just go ahead and do this, and just very gently give it a little bit of thrust, and we'll move the camera out of the way so you guys don't get exhaust right in the nose. Alright, very gently. Right? Alright, there we go, look at that. Got 4 minutes again. That little itty bitty burst. 7 minutes even? Oh, nice. How about again? Oh, okay, we're moving a little bit fast. We're down to 6 minutes, but that's okay, because 6 minutes is more than enough time for 2 more Kerbals I think we have over there. I'm going to do the time skip thing again, just really quick, just for the purposes of saving my own butt. Okay, Nick, you are next, Mr. Bell. So Nicholas Bell, you are next. Go ahead and let go. And we're going to RCS you. Now you're upside down. Oh, there you go. There you go. Okay, we're going to be right side up here in a second. Let's just go ahead and let you orient, of course. And you're going to have you turn around just really quick. Let's zoom in on you there, buddy. Perfect. Nice. Wonderful. All right. Not exactly straight. Remember, all relative. All right, there you go. And we'll just scoot over in that direction. Once again, 400 meters. I don't know if this is better than docking. It takes longer. I can tell you that it takes longer than docking. But honestly, this is a lot more fun than building a ship that has to dock right now. Plus, I really need much more practice on doing that kind of thing. Building ships that dock or building shuttle type ships. That's something I really don't do. I build ships to do one job. I don't build multi-purpose ships. So of course, ships that do things like, well, you know, that's what the shuttle is. Honestly, it's a multi-purpose ship. It does anything that it needs to do. It does payload delivery. It does crew transfer. It does crew return. It does all that stuff. Probably could land on another planet if it had to. I don't know if it's rated for it, but I'm sure it could try. I don't have anything that does any of all those things all at once. Especially with the deadly reentry, of course, because we don't know we don't know how that is affected, like how wing parts and things like that are affected by that kind of thing. So, all right, so Nick is coming in next, and I do like the EVA stuff though, because we don't get to EVA much, do we? We really don't. You know, you think you get to EVA more, but you don't. All right, let's turn you around, buddy, so we don't fling you off into space like we did with conflicts. Sorry about that again. Okay, here we go. And we just want to bring him in and grab and board. Hey, look at that. Oh, wrong button. We're down to 4 minutes. That was my bad. I hit the wrong button. Now, I know we have one more Kerbal. Do we have 2 more Kerbals? I think we have 1 more Kerbal, right? Empty, okay. Empty, cool. Empty, perfect. And then we have 1 more. I don't know, like I said, I don't know why the camera's like this, but it is. So let's go ahead and retract our panels. These are going to be the last things that Mr. Spiracco does before we go. So we're going to retract our panels, and we're going to turn off our... Oh, we don't want the scrubber on. We want this one off. Here it is. So we want to drop that, and we want to just turn this off. Deactivate, recycler. Boom, done. All right. And then Mr. Spiracco, since you have shut down the station, we can't close these, unfortunately. So we're not going to. Everything else is off that can be off. I think we're using like 0. Yeah, we're using 0. No, 2.5. Whatever we're using it. I guess I could leave. No, don't care. We're not going to leave the solar panels open. Something is running. I don't know what it is. But it honestly doesn't matter at this point because, like I said, Kerbals can open the solar panels if needed. And there are no other Kerbals on board. We checked. So, Mr. Spiracco, you are it, sir. Turn on your RCS if you could. Perfect. Okay, he has an orientation issue. There it is. So we're now moving away from the bubble. It has done such a great job, but we are now moving away and heading towards the deorbiter for the last time. That should be all 5, right? 5? Why do I feel like I got my numbers wrong? We checked all the doors. Yeah, we checked all 3 doors, and we checked this one, and that one doesn't have any people in it. It can't have people in it because there's no doors on it, and this is only a single crew member unit. So yeah, so goodbye, Bubble. It was nice hanging out with you. You did such a great job, honestly. We're not leaving any Kerbals behind. I'm pretty sure of that. So we're just going to continue our our trip towards the deorbiter with Mr. Sparacco here. I'm saying Sparacco. Is it Sparacco or Sparco? I think it's S-P-A-R-A-K-O. Sparacco. Okay, cool. I'm saying it right. Aha, see? Genius. You guys can't tell I'm extremely nervous. Because this is all, as you guys can tell, this is all one take. I haven't cut at all. This is all one take. I've moved you guys over, and I'm thinking we're going to do all one take for bringing us down, too. So, because of that, just very, 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 very nervous, because I could lose all 6 of you, including Bob, very quickly. Alright, I want to go... Yeah, there we go. I just want to slow down a little bit. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm losing something here. Alright, no, I got it. There we go. Just, it's difficult to know which direction you're going in until... There we go. Alright, if you can turn. Ooh, little buddy. Oh, there we go. Okay, you orient yourself a little bit, well, not perfectly, but a little bit better. Alright, up. Your shadow's there on the ship. Now we don't have to worry about our distance from the ship anymore, or the station anymore, which is nice. But I do have to worry about getting you on board without flinging you into space, so let's go ahead and do that. Lots of EVA practice, though. Lots of EVA practice. Grab. Done. Alright, so that should be everybody, right? Yeah, that should be everybody. I'm just really feeling like I missed somebody, and I know that's really bad. So we brought up Bob. So it was 2, 4, 6. We had 5. We had Bob in the cockpit. Why do I feel like I'm missing somebody? We have... let's activate all the scrubbers, by the way, just for safety's sake. Alright, so let's check. I just want to check one more time. Sparacco, that's 1, 2, 3, 4... Yeah, we're missing somebody. Who stayed behind? Who stayed behind? Who's over here? Somebody's got to be over here. I am not crazy. Did I miscount, guys? Did I miscount? Without our indicator down here, I feel like I miscounted. I really do, and it's upsetting to me. Empty. 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 Is that everybody? Did I not miscount? I'm seriously confused. I really don't want to leave anybody up here since I turned off the O2 regulator. I mean, I could leave it on. But there's no carbon dioxide left, right? All the CO2's gone? Yeah, and it's using up power. I guess I could open these. Oh no, I can't anymore. Yeah, so I can't open these, which means nobody's on board. Yeah, nobody's on board. Okay, so I guess I just miscounted. That's got to be it. That's got to be the thing, is I just miscounted the number of people. Okay, so he's very yelly. Alright, so here comes our burn-in. There's really no reason to wait, I guess you can say. Now that's our target. We don't want target, we want orbit. Yeah, okay, our orbit's roughly the same as target anyway, but we just want to make sure. Now, as I said, I pumped most of the fuel into this. We could ditch this and just use this to deorbit, but I want to use this to deorbit, and then I'm going to dump the remainder of this fuel into here, because that will get our center of mass closer to where I want it to be, which is closer to the center. If this thing has any fuel in it, our center of mass is going to be way down low, and that's going to pull our ass down, and if that happens, bad things could be afoot. So before we ditch this tank, we are going to remove all the fuel from this mainline tank, and that's just the way we're going to do it. And since we're only at 70 clicks, it's not that big of a deal. It honestly isn't. But of course, I'm going to do lots of fun stuff before we do that, including save, because I'm crazy like that. We're going to stop time. I know I'm kind of cheapy when I do that, but as I said, until they fix the physics system to where it doesn't automatically stop you from moving, it's going to be something I use just because it's there. So let's go ahead and start our burn-in. Now, I don't want this to be too hot. How's our ablative coating? Well, we don't have any. That's upsetting. Now, this thing does say it has ablative shielding in the correct direction. It said it. I checked the VAB. I checked the VAB on all the parts that are on here. But if you notice, it doesn't show it. And because of that, this may burn up in the atmosphere. I'm going to tell you guys right now, okay, since I already quick saved, that if that happens, I will be reloading, and it's not because I'm worried about losing anybody, but honestly it's because this should not burn up in the atmosphere. That's really it. Everything, like, the mod says this works. And if it doesn't work, not from pilot error, but if it doesn't work because the mod lied to me, that will be very upsetting, and because of that, we will be I will be reloading, and then we'll bring up a different ship for everybody, because that'll be the safer bet. So we are coming down, so let's go ahead and ditch this. Oh, stage locked. Still stage locked. There we go. We'll ditch that. Okay, now we're coming in, and we're coming in nice and light. And I guess we want to come in a really weird way, which means we want to come in like... I'm going to have to use this. We have to keep ourselves stable. We basically want to come in like so, right? Kind of like this. Like against our own... Yeah, like that is basically how we want to come in, is against our own forward movement. So, and we'll just have to see how this works. It should work. You know, like I said, the mod says it works, and I know you guys really can't see, and I do apologize that we keep coming in on the dark side. But this is very nervous making anyway. So let's go ahead and there we go. Now that should be about right. I'm hoping that's about right. So like I said, this is going to be a fair warning to everybody. If this does not work, if all of you die from any of these 3 parts exploding, if any of you die, I will be reloading, or if the ship explodes from this, I will be reloading, because as I said, the mod states this should work as long as this is pointed in the correct direction. The fact that it doesn't have ablative coating on here makes me worried, but I trust the mod developer to not lie to me. So I trust the mod developer to not lie to me is basically how that's going to work, and we'll just have to see. We're at 65.5 kilometers. I think we'll just keep... I don't think I want to time accelerate if I don't have to. So this is going to be a long portion. This is going to be basically the longest portion of the video. Really? So Ultra Confix is cool. There he is. Nice and happy. It's like, yeah, whatever. Yo, what's up? Things are going great. Oh yeah. Alright, so here we go. Oh yeah, that's MechJeb right there. I had to put him on the nose in case anybody was wondering. I didn't know if you could see him from here, but apparently you can. These cockpits are so nice. They really are. They're really wonderful. I love the way they're designed. And I love all the modders who build this stuff. They're all crazy. But crazy in a good way. Crazy, cool, crazy. Alright, looks like we're tilting back a little bit despite our aerodynamic nature. So there you go. I really, really, really am hoping good things happen rather than bad things, because I'm really, well, you know what, we can kind of time accelerate a little bit, I think, for just becauses. We seem to be well, we're not holding perfectly straight. We do tilt back a little bit. I think our ass is a little bit heavier than it should be. But we're at 59. Alright. Yeah, because I don't want to waste your guys' time with the video if we're not coming at properly. Whoa, 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 whoa! I think we just hit air, like thicker air, is what happened there. I know we're time accelerating, but I didn't tap the button very hard, and we just suddenly jolted forward. So I'm not sure what the hell happened there. Okay. So we're at 55, 54. Well, that's our true altitude, of course, is 55. Why our true altitude is separate from our actual altitude, I don't know. That's weird. Usually it's the other way around, isn't it? Oh, right. True altitude. Oh, I forgot. MechJeb's true altitude is based on not sea level, but the actual floor, the ground. So if that number is higher than that number, we're over ocean. That's how that works. So yeah, that's what was going on there, is we were over the ocean. It's when true altitude is lower than your overhead altitude. That's when you're over rock or over ground or over anything that's above sea level. So just a heads up for anybody who gets confused by that, because I get confused by that all the time. Okay, we're tilted a little bit, and that's a little upsetting, but we're going to start coming in on our burn, and I'm going to bring us back down to normal speeds when that happens. Time speed wise, not flight speed wise. Flight speed, we're still way up there. Alright, I'm kind of controlling the ship now just a little bit, just tapping it every once in a while to keep our nose down. Alright, so there we go. So at 37, how's our heat? How's our heat? Wow, temperature's up. That's... yeah, like I said, if you guys explode, very upsetting for me. Very, very, very upsetting for me. Probably very upsetting for you too, but it is one of the few times where I will, in fact, take the time to reload the game because, or ignore, not ignore our rules, but circumvent our rules. It does come as one of our loopholes where mods do not work as advertised, and when that happens, we reload because death by broken mod is wrong. That's basically how that works for us. Death by broken mod is wrong. So okay, there. Oh, parachute's overheating. Parachute's overheating. Okay, there we go. I had to tilt forward a little bit more. Okay, so it is working. Okay, the ablative coating is working. No, 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 no. Okay, we lost some of our parachutes. Fine. 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 That's why we have redundant parachutes. Come on, slow us down, slow us down, slow us down. We're starting to tilt backwards really bad. Man, I can't stop it. Okay, more parachutes down. Yep, we're losing it a little bit. Thankfully, I put a lot of parachutes on here. Slow us down, please, sir. How many parachutes do we have left? 5? Will 5 be enough to stop us from smashing into the ground at high speed? I don't know. Alright, so there we go. So at least that worked. We are still very much ass heavy, and even the SAS is having trouble coping. We're at 15 kilometers true altitude, 700 meters a second. I want that down to 300 meters per second before we open our parachutes. That is the rule. Anything above that and the rest of the parachutes could easily rip off. 12,000, 11,000, come on. Come on. 10,000. May not have the option. 9. Come on. 3. 8. Okay. Gotta open them. May not be enough, but we have to open them now to help slow us down. So here goes. If they rip off, you guys could die, but no reload now because everything else worked like it was supposed to. 200 meters a second. Come on. That's got to be way lower than that or there's parachutes rip off. I already know that. 3,000 meters. Come on, game. You can do this. You can do this. Don't kill my Kerbals. Don't kill my Kerbals. I had more parachutes on here, but you burned them off. Alright, guys. Here's the moment of truth. Either all 5 of those parachutes rip off or not. In 3, 2, 1. Boom. And you live. Wait, that's orbital speed. How fast are we actually going? Oh, 9 meters a second. Well, shiz. It was super duper exciting and it was pointless because that was orbital speed. We were probably only doing like 200 meters a second the whole time. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, my bad. My bad. But hey, you know what? Welcome home, right? Welcome home, everybody. You guys made it. All 5 of you. And everyone, be sure to thank Bob Kerman, your wonderful, wonderful pilot for this evening, who brought you down safe and sound, regardless of several of our parachutes blowing off. We did have some redundant systems, which did help. It looks like we lost the ones in the middle, is how that worked. And one of these here on the side we lost. But the ones on the nose and most of the ones on this side survived. So, proof and point that the modders did not lie to us. That's great. It looks like we're landing on a hill in a crater. Oh. That is a long statement for we hit the ground and something exploded. Alright, now since that was such a long segment, and normally we would go back up, and as I said, we do need to dock the 2 ships together to head towards Duna, but because this was such a long segment, and it was super duper exciting, and I kind of like the idea of ending on this note. So because of that, I would like to thank you all very much for joining me, 4 Kilobyte Short, on this Let's Play of Kerbal Space Program with Kerbal Space Adventures, and now that the bubble is mothballed for the moment, and everybody's down safe on the planet, on Kerbin, we can concentrate 100% on getting our Duna discovery mission put together proper-like. And because of that, I would like to thank you all once again, as I said, for joining me, and I will see you guys next video.